briefly introduce yourself and specifically maybe what your involvement is with JF, just so that they can make the connection with environmental education.
Okay, I'm Aaliyah. I'm 16. My involvement with JF is being a leader and so like helping the younger kids with math and science, just STEM in general, and then going through and creating different events for older, like our age, like 15, 16, 17.
I'm Miriam. I'm 16, and my involvement with JF is that I am also a team leader. So along with the lead, helping group kids with anything STEM related and planning events for older people, like youth.
Sorry, I'm at answering the slides. That's why it's so slow, everybody.
Okay. So I came up with just some slides, and one of them is what the ad you want, especially from adults. So, and then the side question is what makes it possible for us to be leaders in certain events. So some of the bullet points that we have is learning something new, having new experiences, interacting with others in the community, identifying needs and taking action on those needs,
doing something that we're interested in. Comfort, you know, we would love to have sponsors that look like us, whether it's or gender, trust, and a environment.
And this, I think the safe environment and the comfort, I think a lot of that, when you said like part of that is race and the trust. That's the trust. That's another huge thing. Okay. And like you had like an experience with that with Mi Gente. Mm-hmm. That you talked about earlier planning the slides. Do you want to talk about?
I said earlier, we did lose a couple of our sponsors for Mi Gente, and our first two sponsors, you know, we already trusted them because they looked like us, and they understand where we were coming from. So getting two new sponsors was definitely something very new because they have different ideas and they have different set of rules, and we're used to our rules and the way that we like to plan events and plan projects and fundraisers. So I think sitting down with the sponsors and tell them, like I said before, like we are mostly an independent group and everybody in the club has their own task to perform. But we do need the support from them and we do need their trust. So that's something that was pretty big for us.
And I think it's kind of funny listening to it as an adult, because if we had to replace two folks on staff, we would expect them to get with us. Mm-hmm. We would expect them to, we would explain our culture or our expectations, how we work, how we show up, and if they wanted to be there, they would conform or kind of present as we ask them to present. And here you all are, as students, having to think about changing the way you operate and think about your work and the new guidelines that another sponsor will come in with. And so I think when it's important to acknowledge the power dynamic, because it is very real. And you negotiate because you all need to sponsor. Right. So wouldn't it be easier to just go on with your work if the adult would come in and sit with you and understand what it takes to be your sponsor, as you all see it? I think
Oh, okay. So the next is why we think new perspectives are important, like youth and adults. So there are benefits like learning from each other. Adults have a lot to give, but youth also have a lot to give as well.
we're reading your comments live.
Yeah.
So maybe we can go back to that after we finish the slide.
Okay. It helps us understand where the other person is coming from. We think it helps adults become better listeners, and it also expands their knowledge, and that's vice versa as well. But I think adults like to make sure their points are like there, and so it just helps them listen to us and our points.
It allows youth to actively participate, and I think that's really important when, you know, you find a passion that you're really interested in. It reduces judgment with both groups, so that kind of goes back to helping understand where the other person is coming from, and increases understanding. So you may have known something about a specific topic, but then getting with other people and becoming more active helps you learn more about it, and that's always a good thing. So
Creativity as well.
So we're going to look at this. I think it's okay to interject here and say, one of the chatted messages caught our attention, and it reads, I think there was a request for thoughts about youth voice in EE. As an environmental educator, I have ideas about how to engage youth in the outdoors, but those may not be what you see as the best ways to connect. It would be great to listen to the ways that youth would prefer to connect with nature and partner with them to design programs and initiatives. Might we answer that in the next couple slides?
Definitely.
I think we may get there. I'll advance us so we can see if we get that, if we address that. So maybe this side, and I'll flip the...
Okay. Do you want me to? Sure. Okay, so this helps the community by taking action on community needs. So an example for both of us, we're both involved in a community garden with the JF, and that's really important in a community because it really does bring a lot of people together, and the community or the garden is ran by youth. So seeing a lot of younger kids out there planting and learning about basically how to garden, I think that's something that should always be there. Again, youth learning new things and growth and gaining new perspectives.
And then along with that, connecting with people where you fit in and getting a greater level of involvement and being excited about what we're doing is also what's important in the community. And I think that very much shows when youth are excited and involved about something, things will start changing in the community. So this one is why youth should be leaders in environmental education. So some of the things we came up with were this specific generation has a passion for making change and advocating for important topics like environmental education, and many youth want to be a part of the conversation but don't get the specific opportunities, and I think that's due to just the outreach and how adults are getting to certain youth, which is like a goal.
Yeah.
You know?
It gives youth a chance to learn more about the topic and allows youth to be more open-minded about certain environmental issues. So, again, this generation is passionate about making a change. So, allowing to be a leader allows us to have more of an open mind and think critically more about environmental issues.